Hey guys, welcome back to my channel MI Tutorial. So today I'm going to teach you few basic Excel tricks or shortcuts. So this is basically for Excel beginners. So let's get started. So the first one that I have here is a shortcut to jump from one worksheet to another without having to use the mouse. So all you need to do is press the Control plus page down or page up button to move between the sheets. As you can see, I'm moving here from sheet 1 to sheet 2, sheet 3, 4 without having to use the mouse, which basically saves the time for you. So that was the first trick. So moving on, the next trick is jump to the end of the data range or the next data range with Control plus arrow button. So in this particular sheet I have a sample data here which I have created using a function which is inbuilt in Excel, which I'm going to teach you in a while. But in this, now we're going to learn how to jump to the end of the data range. So for example, if you want to move to the 17th row here, all you need to do is press the Control and down arrow key. This will directly take you to the last row of the Excel data which is used. Now I just have a sample data set here, but let's say if you're working with lakhs of rows of data and if you want to go to the last row of the data, this particular shortcut really helps, which is the Control and down arrow key. And if you want to go on top, it is the top arrow key. And likewise, if you want to move towards the end of the right end of the sheet, you need to press the right arrow key, and then if you want to go back, you can press the Control and left arrow key. And moving on, now this is the add the shift key to select data. And let's say if you want to select the data, not just move from right to left but also select the data when you are moving around. So all you need to do is press the Control and shift button and the right arrow key, which will basically select the entire row for me. And if you want to select the that selected all of the columns, but if you want to select all of the rows, then you need to press the Control shift and press the down arrow key. This is going to select the entire data set that you have. Now this basically helps you when you're copy pasting the data into a different sheet. Okay, moving on to the next one. So it's double click to copy down a trick. So basically, let's say if you have some data, if you have data here, and if you want to create serial numbers for this particular data, so what I will do is I will just press 1, 2 and 3 in the first 3 columns. I'm going to select this data here and just double click on the end of the cell here, which will basically drag down the formula all the way till you have the data here. So basically Excel will analyze it automatically and drag and drop down the formula until where the data here in the 17th row. Moving on to the next, which is the use shortcuts to quickly format values. So I have some values here, and let's try and convert them. Let's say if I want this to appear as percentage, so all you can do is just select the data that you want, press Control Shift and press the percentage button. So this will automatically convert the data into percentage. You don't need to get into different dialog boxes to convert the data, or even use your mouse to go and click on this percentage sign here. And let's say if you want to change this to numerical value with a dollar sign in it, all you need to do is Control Shift and dollar. That will change to dollar automatically. And if you just want the numbers to appear there, you can press Control Shift and 1. So that will change to number formatting automatically. Moving on, so lock cells with using the F4 function. Now let's say you have a header over here. I'll just have it as test as of now. So let me just rename this to test 1, test 2, 3. So you saw how this changed automatically. So let's say if I want to have the header here, I'm going to select is equals to and add this. and I want to have the header down here as well. So what happens is this basically is copying down all of the rows here, but I just want the row to stay there. I don't want the the header to change. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to press the F4 button, which will basically lock cells for me. And then when I click on this double click on this button here, the formula is dragged down here and the values have not changed. So this you can use the shortcut F4 button to lock down the formula. Moving on to the next, summarize data with COUNTIF and SUMIF. So I have a sample data set here. Basically I have some dates, fruit, and the quantity that has been purchased on that particular date. So I'm going to use the sum function here, SUMIF. So it's asking me to enter range, which is going to be this here. My criteria is going to be the fruit here, and my sum range is going to be the quantity that has been purchased. So I'm just going to close the bracket and hit enter. And as you can see, I'm just going to take off the decimals there, and as you can see, all my oranges quantity has been summed. And if I have to do this manually, then my count is 155, which is appearing here, and the same thing has been appearing for apple, chiku, and grape. So this is the total quantity that I have, which is 1033, and if you count here, it's going to be 1033 as well. Okay, now moving on to the next, which is the COUNTIF formula. So for this particular fruit, I want to find out how many times this particular fruit has been bought in. So I'm going to use the COUNTIF formula, and I'm going to enter the range here, which is my fruit, and I'm going to enter the criteria as orange. So as you can see, orange has been bought in thrice, apple has been bought in thrice, and same with chiku and apple. So basically that's the number of times this particular fruit has been bought in, and the quantity is this. And if you want to now calculate average quantity which has been bought in one particular day, you can just divide the total value by quantity, and this has given you the average quantity which has been purchased on a particular day. Now moving on, pull out the data that you want using a VLOOKUP. Now I have a sample data set here. I have last name and first name, and the email IDs over here, name and their email. So but I have the data set here with last name and first name. Now if you see the data set here, there's only name here. It's not split out by first name or last name. So let's do a VLOOKUP and get the email IDs against it. And I'm just going to type in email ID. So how I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a function VLOOKUP, and I'm going to go with so let's actually see what's the first name, how's the name here. So it's College and Smith. So college, so basically it's the first name and then last name. So I'm going to type in VLOOKUP first name, and I'm going to type in and I'm going to open quotes, give a space, open quotes, because there's a space between the first name and last name. I'm going to type in and again, click on Smith, comma, my table array is going to be this until the email ID. My email ID is in the second column, so I'm going to say comma 2 comma 0, close the bracket and enter. So I've got the email ID here, and you can just drag and drop the formula there, and you have all of the email IDs against that particular name. Moving on now, use the and to combine string. So basically, let's say if you want, so you have the first name and last name here, but you want to create a name in one particular cell. So I'm just going to type in is equals to my first name, and I'll open quotes to give a space and click on and again, last name, enter, and you can just click on this. And you can just click on this button here, which will basically drag down the formula all the way till here. So you have the name combined using the AND function within Excel. Okay, so moving on to the next formula, which is the cleanup text with using the left and right function. So I have a sample data set here. So basically I have some alphabets here, and let's say if you want to separate out by 3 characters each, so I'm going to using the left function here. I'm going to click on the text that I want, comma, and enter 3, close the bracket and hit enter, and click on this button to drag and drop down the formula. And let's say if you want to separate out on the right hand side 3 characters, I'm going to use the right formula. I'm going to select the text, comma, 3, close the bracket and hit enter, and you can just double click the formula and drag and drop it down. Moving on, so generate random values with rand formula. So basically, as you saw here in the first thing that we saw, so this particular data set has been created using a function called as rand, so which is basically which creates random values. So let's say I want a sample data set here in this particular data set cells that I have selected. I'm just going to type in is equals to rand, open bracket and close bracket, and hit enter. And then I'm going to press Ctrl R so that it copies the data all the way to the left, and I'm going to press Ctrl D, which is a shortcut to copy the formula down. So I have the random data set created here, and you can press the F9 button, and that will refresh the data every time you press the F9 button. Yeah, so that was about it. So these are the 11 tricks and shortcuts that will change your life. I hope this video has helped you. If this video has helped, please hit the like and subscribe button for more such videos.